tall or our loyalty lies only with Warrior, and they will scrap only if I give them the order. And you feeling itchy, you got something to say, just know we hop this way. Nobody else is suited for this other than us. I know it's crazy, but we work with it and don't give up. Welcome to the show. If you don't know the name, we call it Hop This Way.
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Hop This Wei Show. And what a fantastic intro by our boy Matt Chua, who's not here right now. But shout out to Chua for that amazing new intro that we have. Yes, big cheers. Go follow him over at Chua America, as you heard in the song. Also, we got joining us as usual, Mr. Kung Fu Hustle himself. How's it going, Frank?
Hey guys, how you doing? Yeah, that intro was a nice shot in the arm.
Damn, it's dope, right? Like, he killed it.
Oh yeah.
And talking about killing it, she kills it each and every week. And we've seen her dressed up in her Hop Wei outfit as a hatchet woman, looking great. Miss Rebecca Nishi over at Warrior Max Geek. How are you?
I'm fine. Glad to be here again every week. Always a pleasure to talk to you guys.
And always a pleasure having you on here. And always a pleasure talking Warrior. Last time we all hooked up was last week. We rejoiced about the announcement of season 3. I feel partial, like we had a hand in this. Like, not this show, but I feel like we fans really did have a big hand in this. And what a great feeling to see that it's going to be coming back for season 3 and see what's coming. But we are here to talk about episode 8 of season 1 of Warrior. This episode, they don't pay us enough to think. I love that they do this with these episodes as well. They give each title from an actual saying that is said in that episode, and this one was said, of course, by Bill. First off, before we get into this episode, what did you guys think of this episode overall? I'm going to start with you, Rebecca.
Well, let me think. I don't know. I think Assam being circled for masked guys.
Right. When Father June is testing him at the end of the episode, and he throws them in that room, and they just kind of jump them, and they're all masked there. Yeah,
that was so Bruce Lee. Kicking ass, like in circles.
And it was kind of reminiscent of Bruce Lee. And what movie was that? Enter the Dragon, where he fights all the black belts at the beginning.
I think each move of him has some kind of scene like this, but the most famous is Fist of Fury and at the dojo.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Wearing dark blue and the guys with white kimono around him.
This one. Always have them on. Always have them close at hand there. Frank, what were you thinking watching this episode? What stood out most for you here?
Oh, man. Jumping ahead, that outro with the outro montage with all them training with Lee Young and Assam preparing with Atoy discovering Lai's talent. And with just seeing Perry perform, and then it just like overlaying all the scenes of the different characters. It was a great way to close an episode. Well, just short of the beach scene. So yeah, and that scene with Joe Taslim where he did a whole sequence with all those guys without cuts.
Oh, that was all one shot.
That was like a 60, 75-second shot, and it ends with him doing that big jumping turning kick. So that was impressive too.
Yeah.
Let us talk about Joe Taslim just a little bit if we can here. And we can get into our Mortal Kombat talk maybe a little bit after. But Joe Taslim is a judo master.
Champion.
who is basically just Rain Man when it comes to martial arts. You put some type of discipline or form of martial arts in front of him, and he's learning it and looking like a black belt in such a short amount of time. Like, have we ever seen an athlete like Joe before? And I'm including the Master Bruce.
That's dangerous territory for certain folks, right? So, well, I get what you're saying though, like, because he was an Olympic athlete representing Indonesia. He I was reading something or listening to an interview. I think he said he did wushu as a kid, which is a performance driven martial art that Jet Li did growing up. Yeah, and he did. I think he did taekwondo. He boxed. He did a mixture, and then I'm sure now that he's done work on the Raid with Eco and all those guys, he's picked up a lot of the silat and a lot just the way those guys choreograph, right? So I wonder how much. I'm sure that has some influence in the whole show's choreography. Also, the way is almost like it's not as theatrical and as acrobatic as like the Jackie Chan '80s stuff,
right?
But is also not like just like a straight on knockdown drag out. Basically something like if it was like Leary having one of his cobblestone fights, right? It's not like that, but it's somewhere in between. Like they'll have moments. It's almost like Daredevil with higher levels of athleticism. So
which is saying a lot.
Yeah. No,
saying a lot, because I honestly give Charlie Cox a lot of props for all the work he put in for Daredevil. Not to flip the shows here, but I'm not sure who the fight coordinator was on that show, but they did a fantastic job with him.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed those. And I enjoy these more because it does have those moments. It's like it'll have a lot of knockdown, drag out, brutal moments, but it'll have every once in a while they'll throw in something just incredibly brilliant. Now that they got Lai's character waking up, they got more and more of Li Yong coming in as he's preparing for the fight, and also he's just becoming more of a well-rounded character. And we've seen it a little bit from Young Jun within his ability. Bolo's gone, but we still got some elite folks that are still there. So
yeah, oh for sure. And this show is full of great martial artists and full of great characters who are great actors who are beyond just great martial artists or just great actors. They've got the whole package here. And we see that with Olivia Chang a lot in this as well. Like, she is one of the most fluent, or not fluent, but just fluid, I should say, in her martial arts. And when you watch her, it's truly like watching one of the great katas out there. It feels like you're watching a truly epic ballet, if you will, when she's got a sword in her hand and doing whatever it is. And I've seen that with her here and as well on Marco Polo, her character there as well.
Okay.
So I don't really know where I'm going with that. I just want to just put it out there that I think Olivia Chang is one of the most badass women on the planet, and I need to see more of her. Let's get into this episode, though. This episode starts off where we left off, and that is the Big Tong War in the middle of Chinatown here. Now, watching this back, we talked about this before we started this episode. We all kind of remembered it being a lengthier battle than it was. But it was just basically just that opening sequence, and then they cut to the intro, and then it's the after fight. Tell us a little bit about that for you on your side, Frank. You've dealt with stunt work before and combat fighting. What was it like watching that opening sequence, and what would it have been like for you being a part of that cast if you had been there?
Sorry to clarify, I hadn't actually done stunt work myself.
Oh, okay.
Like I've done martial arts with stunt people. Like a part of one of the martial arts group I'm in has a lot of folks out there in LA. Shout out to my boy Brian Sloyer out there leading that group. But that's about the extent of my any direct interaction with that world. So I can't say what would it be like for me to be a part of the cast, right? Because I know that stage combat, movie combat is very different from real life, from or athletic combat. I don't like making that. I don't like that phrase. That phrase is a little bit loaded, but I do notice I do appreciate just from I think watching a lot of action growing up. It's just like the more they can do with a big wide shot without having to rely on camera angles, without having to rely on cutting, the more impressed I am. It doesn't even have to be the cleanest stuff, but just the fact that they had the endurance and the explosiveness to keep up that sequence, and also just the control and the coordination, and also appreciating they probably had to do a lot of takes of that. So
for sure.
Yeah, it's very impressive because I know how taxing a lot of those movements can get because I have done a lot of those movements, right? Just not for a movie set.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate like how far you can see the main character actor, Andrew Koji, coming along with his abilities too. He's learning
sure.
well, so.
Yeah, Brett Chan talks about that as well, about Andrew's evolution from day one to where they are at the end of season 2, which has been kind of amazing. Now, Rebecca, let me ask you, because they kind of do that cut, so we don't really see the fight. We see bits and pieces of the fight. We don't see how it ends. According to you, who do you think won that fight?
I was wondering who died. If Young died, Sam, Youngjun, because it's kind of mystery. It ends, the cops come on, and the politicians, and then they show them again. So I was like a little bit anxious to see if one of them have died.
Right. So so after all that dust cleared and everything, and we see Young Jun's back at the office, he's like, "Oh, we kicked their asses." But of course, after a fight, everybody says they kicked the other side's ass. Who do you think would have won that fight, though? That one that we didn't actually get to see.
Actually, Bill said that Seven Long Z, Officer Lee, I think, said 7 Long Z have died and 4 Hop Wei have died. So,
wow, I guess the Hop Wei one then.
Yeah,
we go by the numbers there. So shortly after that, we see Buckley and the mayor kind of scheming again, and they're talking right before the senator comes along, because the senator comes out as well and kind of addresses the city afterwards and tries to play the hero, and basically all he's there to do is just shit talk the Chinese population and blame everything on them. And this is the savages again. We will deal with this. I feel like they made a lot out of the senator here in this episode, but I feel like we never got any kind of... That's that one character I feel like we never got the rest of his story.
Yeah. I guess you could say that was the one character that was more meant to represent just an image, or maybe he was a combination of... Maybe he was based off of certain people, maybe he was based off like a combination. Because, yeah, you're right, because like even the other politicians in the show have a lot of backstory that you can see through like flashbacks or through performance. And actually, like, the guy who plays the mayor is an awesome actor. Like,
great actor.
Yes,
like the way he was able to just deliver his lines with the energy that he has, even though the mayor is supposed to be like an incompetent character, the way he delivers his lines, it almost makes you kind of forget about the dopiness of the mayor.
Yeah, and that's like, Christian McCabe that plays the mayor. He's there on the left, and beside him's Langley Kirkwood, who awesomely plays the horrible Walter Buckley.
It's a pity that Christian McCabe is not very active on social media, because I would like to see him in real life. He seems like very good actor. I don't know him out of Warrior, but the faces he does, it's like you want to slap him. Like, my God.
And I think Penelope wants to slap him as well.
She punched.
So Penelope overhears Buckley and the mayor speaking as well. She knows what's going on now. She knows that her dad's kind of being used. Buckley goes and speaks with her father as well, and kind of strong arms him, saying, listen, we made a deal here with who's going to be working here. You can't go back on this now. And kind of strong arms him a bit. And we're starting to see that he holds so much power and sway over Penny's father. Where we'd seen, like, because before, we kind of know that Penny's dad's been sheepish just this whole time, but he's had a bit of a backbone, at least it seemed to the mayor up until this point. But here we realize that who's in charge, at least in Penny's father's mind.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
No, because that's where he really shows just like how like commanding of an actor he can be. I think just as a regular viewer, right? Just the way he's able to like put his hand on Byron Mercer's shoulder and say, "You got to see at that table, Byron." It's almost like it's okay. You can come sit at the big kid's table. Right. I'll save you a spot. It's okay. You're with me. So it's one of those things where it's like it is funny to see him exude that kind of power, but also him just have almost like complete just impotence in other areas, right? So and also just and just being seen almost like a joke because Buckley's character treats him like a joke, right?
And he should, and he really should, because we learn early on that even though Buckley is the mayor's underling, he's really the one pulling all the strings, which we see so many times in so many other stories, but they tell it so well here. And I mean, Buckley quickly becomes, at least for me, the most hated character on the show.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, because he's got no emotional dedication, right? He's pure pragmatism.
Yeah.
Or if
There's
he does
no
have
redeeming qualities at all.
Yeah. Or if he does have any emotional commitment, is like delivered in such a cold way that you don't really think that he does, so yeah.
Well, all his emotions just go to redheaded hookers, so
that was,
it's weird.
Yeah, so I really wonder what the writers were trying to start with that. It's like what are they trying to, what kind of ideas are they trying to plant in our minds with that? That was
didn't you get that? You didn't see that when they did the flashback episode when he was in the war and he loses his leg? The nurse that nurses him back is a redhead.
Oh, so because of the common. Oh,
yeah,
he's like holding his hand and like almost crying because of him.
Yeah, I think I blocked that out just because Buckley looks so creepy whenever he does anything. Like when he was like watching hair, it's like.
I put on the group once that does he kill the red woman after washing their hands? Because we never see anything. Probably. I don't know.
Also, it's like, why are you doing that? It's like this.
He's a serial killer.
he seems like a straight up sociopath. Yes. Like that guy has no remorse in him whatsoever. And I don't. But I think that's part of the appeal for him as well, though. Like of that character, and by appeal, I don't mean that we like him. It's just that he's that character that draws your attention because he is so devious, because he is so conniving, and you look at him, and as an actor, he does such a great job of just having that douchebaggeriness about him just by seeing him, honestly. And I think he does a great job.
Yeah, it's amazing when you see them in real life. He's such a good guy, such a nice guy, and he's actually an athlete. He's an Ironman, you know that?
Yeah, he bikes a lot. I know that he biked a lot.
No, he did Ironman. And I actually wrote a poem for him today. I posted on Warrior Max Geek.
Yeah.
Wondering what happened to him to make him so hard. What the war took from him, besides his leg. The war might have took some thing for him. I read something about he have changed sides. He fought in the war for one side, and now he's acting in the other side. I'm not
Right.
sure, but it's something that we want to see in season 3. I mean, his past, what happened to him, what brought him to this point, you know.
I just want to see season 3. I want to say that I want to see him die, but I love the actor so much, and I love hating that character so much as well. I almost like really don't want him to die. I almost want to see him kind of just. Well, we know he's going to take over, but he's going to be running against. It was spoilers, everybody, but come on, you're watching the show, you've seen it already. But he's going to be running against Leary in the upcoming elections. It seems.
Or yeah, maybe, I don't know. He's the mayor now, so Leary might be some of the advisors, or you know.
I think Leary's going to run against him. Honestly, I think that's their best bet in that storyline, at least, just for giving it more story. You know, because it doesn't make sense for Leary. He's not the type to be anyone's underling. So I couldn't see him being on the mayor's staff.
Yeah, maybe next election they are opposite to each other.
But when in this episode next, after all that, we also got, that point where the two Toms are like, yo, we got to meet up. We got to settle this before it gets even bloodier than what it just was. And this is the first time, like, Father June's like, yeah, I'll meet with them. And young June's pissed. He's like, we cannot do this. Like, we're not going to go over and, like, we just kicked all their asses. Why are we going to go over there and listen to Mai Ling after she's the one that started all this shit? And
he's like, I want to kill that witch.
Yeah. And I think, maybe it's just me, I think he had a point. I mean, from the position of power that they were in, it seemed like I get they had the Feng Lao?
Feng Hai, yeah.
Feng Hai, yeah, sorry. Yeah. I get that they had the Feng Hai working with them, but still, you're still dominating this street war right now. I'm kind of with young June. What are you guys thinking?
Well, no, you go, Frank.
Oh, no worries. Sorry. Yeah, I guess at this point, maybe Father June's feeling a little bit more vulnerable because he did get hit in that explosion. And excuse me. And now that Bolo's not there to be his right-hand man, now he's got I was thinking about it, it's like Bolo was almost like the son that Father June wishes he had, and young June's like the one that he got. It's like, oh shit, all right, I gotta teach him not to jump at every fight. So now, maybe he just feels very, very unstable in his position, and also the rival that he knows is no longer there. So, and he says it, right? He's like, I don't know Mai Ling. I gotta meet with her to know what I'm dealing with exactly. Maybe I guess at that point, it's almost like he seems like he's trying to say, yeah, if we want to have the war, we can still have it, but let me see what else there is first, right? So, yeah, so he seems like maybe now, because he knows that his son is always going to be go go go, right? He needs to be the one to say, no, wait, maybe not yet. So.
Yeah, because he's trying to pull in the reins on young June and try to let him use his head more than his emotions, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he agrees. Father June agrees that they have more a larger army, more warriors, but in what cost of this? How many men they would lose in war against Mai Ling, because they don't know how far they went with alliance with the Feng Hai. That's he's considering the damage of going through the war now.
And I mean, it's such a tough position, I would imagine, to be in, because like you said, Frank, he wants to see what Mai Ling has got, but also if you've got the power, you can also you would think that you'd want to just squash her out right there at the top, right?
Mhm.
You know, that's take the head of the snake off, and the rest of the body falls, right?
Yeah, or maybe he has more plans, you know, to kind of like reinforce the Hopway while he's maybe stalling a little bit more time, you know, like because he's, I guess, just to like read into it a little bit more, right? Like, he's been the head honcho there for a while. Like he's got
True.
roots there, right? So he might have some tricks up his sleeve that we hadn't seen yet up until this point. And I don't know, maybe he does. Maybe he has the understanding that he doesn't want the police attention either, you know, because if with the senator being in the Chinatown street with all the dead bodies, you know, so there might be all that running through his mind because which episode was it that he had the short monologue where he was talking about how the Chinese have no rights and no power, but somehow they're being blamed for every economic, you know, he said we're being blamed for every economic woe in this country, right? So he had that monologue. I
think it was season 2, though, wasn't it?
Was it?
I'm not sure.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I remember it.
I guess it's not really a spoiler, but
oh no, not really.
yeah. So now I'm trying not to. Now I'm trying not to like look like 10 episodes down the line to go back to this point in the series. Yeah, look at him, that wise old man look, you know. So.
He's so good though, and he's so powerful. And I don't know if you guys have watched Boogie yet. Have you seen Boogie?
Not yet. No.
Oh my god, so good. What I tell all my friends, and I'm like, if you like He Got Game, you'll like Boogie.
Oh really? Okay, I do like.
Yeah, very similar. The tough dad, hard on his son, just to like let's get this scholarship. Mm-hmm. Then the mom is just like, you can't trust your dad. Dad's a piece of shit.
Okay. Perry Young's the dad.
Yeah, Perry Young's the dad, and
oh wow, okay.
Tiger Dad.
It's really good. I really did enjoy it.
I think it's not available in Brazil, unfortunately, but I really want to see it.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's got to be playing somewhere around there. But so they meet up. Mai Ling meets up, and Father June, Young June, reluctantly, they're all there, and they discuss things. And Father June agrees to a truce under his circumstances, and he makes it known that he doesn't like Mai Ling, he doesn't trust Mai Ling, and that the second he gets a chance, he's going to take Mai Ling out. Now, I don't know where we kind of go from there, because this is almost the first time I've seen Mai Ling in the entire series coming at things from a position of weakness. And I'm including when Bolo attacks her as well. Because even when Bolo's attacking her, she knows she's outgunned, but she's still going ferociously. Here, she doesn't have that ferocity.
Yeah, I think she doesn't know how smart Father June is. And when she says, "You killed our Tom's leader," and he answered, we know you were already the leader, you know. And she makes a face like, I got caught, you know. I didn't know you knew.
Yet everybody knew.
Yeah.
Like everybody knew. So they come to this reluctant truce, which, how long is this really going to last, though? Like, honestly, we know at that point that this is just a truce in name only, in face value. My question, I think, going forward, though, is why hasn't Mai Ling ratted out Sahm yet? Because she's given him how many warnings at this point that he's got to leave, or at least leave that Tong. And he hasn't. And we know that she's quite ruthless when it comes to her brother. I'm wondering why it takes so long for her to kind of out him, and why it didn't happen. Maybe not like this episode, next episode. Especially the next episode, because she did not want Sahm fighting for the Hop Wei.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know where her kind of head is with that. But
Yeah.
Go ahead, Frank. Sorry.
Well, it was interesting because remember that exchange that Father June had with young June, saying that Mai Ling is young and reckless. At some point, she's going to show her throat, right? At some point, she's going to slip up. I wonder if that's a part of what that character will be thinking about when it comes to Mai Ling slipping up, right? So, whatever her reasons, maybe she thinks that maybe she still has that emotional connection to her brother. Maybe she, from a pragmatic point of view, is hoping that her brother will still join her, and then have someone defect from the Hop Wei and join the Longzi, and really that would probably be a really big shift in the landscape, right? Sahm and Liang on one side, right? So,
wow.
And so maybe those are some things that are potentially running through her head, and maybe is also kind of in accordance with almost like not quite a prophecy, right? But like a declaration by Father June, saying she's gonna slip up. She's inexperienced. She doesn't have the perspective and the foresight of. There we go.
Speaking of our warrior ladies.
There we go. Still got it.
Yes.
You got.
I am taking you guys with me, so.
We weren't sure if we were going to be in there while you got your shot.
Shot? No, got a test so I can travel.
Oh, right, yeah.
I knew you would take this wax with you at the hospital.
Oh, yes.
We got it. You got it.
That has a flower.
Such a fun accessory.
People in there must be thinking, what is happening right now?
Oh, I know. I'm pulling out weapons. In
a hospital. It's Hawaii, though. They're used to it. I don't even know what that means.
We came to a drive-up testing site, so we're like ready to wander around and shit.
Best of luck. Best of luck.
Oh. Hold on, I'm multitasking with you guys right here.
Yeah, all good. Well, we were talking about it. We just finished talking about when they got the big meet up there, and I think we've lost Steph already.
Hold on.
But we're talking about the big meetup where they're trying to just kind of come to a truce there, and Mai Ling, as we said, was kind of coming at it from not a place of dominance for once in this show. But I do when you were talking there, Frank, I was actually thinking about it. Maybe one of the reasons why she hasn't outed Sahm is because she was keeping that in her back pocket, giving her something, for down the road if she needs it. And maybe she really is that master strategist, as we've seen her be.
Could be.
Could well be.
Yeah, could well be. I mean, up until this point, we know that she doesn't mind walking into an Irish person's house.
Right?
In Chinatown, going into the Irish neighborhood, and she's able to make the backdoor deals with Buckley herself because she's the only one who can cross that language barrier, right? Aside from Chow
and Sahm.
Yeah, and she, obviously is not in the marriage for love, at least not just for love, right? So it's one of those things where like she just shows up until this point she had to be calculating already. So
yes.
It's like, how reckless is she really going to be? Like maybe after a few initial slip-ups because she is still new to that position, but it's like maybe Father June's underestimating her.
And like Rebecca said, though, Father June said it. She's been the leader for a lot longer, like since before Longzi died, right? So,
and we were talking the last time what we would expect for season 3, and I was telling that I wanted to see this relationship between brother and sister because I don't know why she hates him so much. It's not only because she got married with the old man, I would like to see that they growing up and he always being reckless and she always like saving him, and he always trying to prove himself, trying to show he's the best fighter and everything. and maybe she always have been Machiavellic, you know,
Oh yeah, yeah,
since young ages.
Oh yeah.
yeah. And
They're
I can
very
see that the
delicate for
Machiavellian
example. The puzzles you can
part
put
with her.
together now before you get
See, we had her back
but
for half
again,
a
you're gonna have to
second,
make sure
almost.
you
So where did we? What happened after this? What happens after this little meeting here?
They
um,
what
we
happened at that
have
meeting? Yeah.
a
Well, we
toy
know that
session.
Assam and Penny meet up afterwards, and they have
Yeah.
a little tete-a-tete. And Penny basically breaks things off with Assam after the big fight, realizing that there's a lot of violence that comes with
I
this
can't
guy.
hear.
And he
I can't
assures her, he's
hear.
like, "Yo, man, I can. You never have to worry about me." And she's like, "I know I don't." But
Mhm.
it's all the stuff that comes with that, all that other trouble.
Yeah, because she heard the mayor and Buckley talking that some guys have died on street. They were discussing this, that it's going bigger than they wanted. It's becoming a national um worry, not only local, issue. It's like becoming national. And she was hearing this, and she was wondering if Assam was on the fight, if he had died, and she was waiting for him at the night for long hours. He didn't appear. Then she heard this, and she was like, I don't want to live like this, and if someone discover that we are doing this, I am the mayor wife and you are a criminal, so
Yeah,
how it's
you're
going
like
to end.
public enemy number one, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm the mayor's wife and sleeping with you, which
But
is
mostly, I
crazy.
think she was afraid to be suffering like this all the time. Like if he doesn't show up, she will die in worry.
Mm, that's true. And I could see that with her too. And you see the struggle that she has with it, but you also see, as much as she's got that bit of struggle, she's dead set, and this is the way it's got to be. So she's like, this is it. There is no saving this relationship at this point. Is the way she's thinking. Now after this, though, we come across Bill and Lee strolling through Chinatown at night, and Bill's being followed by some collectors. And they confront him, give him the old this, and Bill goes crazy and starts bashing the Feng Hai right in the face with his billy bat. And Lee pulls him off and is like, "Yo, what's going on?" And Lee knows. Lee knows that Bill's got this gambling problem. He even says it to him at this point. "Yo, man, like, what is going on with you? How much do you really owe?" Now,
Hmm.
because I know we've talked before about this, and I'm pretty sure it was you, Frank. You're not a big fan of this character, Bill, at all, eh? Like every time he gets some kind of redeeming qualities, he always kind of shoots himself in the foot.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me he becomes more sympathetic later on, right?
Mm.
But up until this point, right, he hasn't done too many things that are redeeming yet. He's done things that I think maybe a lot of people can understand why he did it, right? To protect his family, he pounded that guy's face in with his cane, right? So,
Yeah.
and that was the most brutal scene in this series up until this point, man. That scene was like
Yeah, it was.
nausea to watch, right? So, but yeah, he just has. I guess it's like he's just such an angry character too. Like he's just such a grumpy character. Like this, everything is like this is bullshit. You know it. This is bullshit.
Well, he even goes off on his captain in this one, saying, "Listen, I
Yeah.
want off this beat." And the captain's like, "What do you say? You've been screwing up. How am I going to take you off the beat?" And he's like, well, if I do good, you guys are going to keep me here. If I screw up, you guys keep me here. I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. I mean,
Actually,
Go
sorry, I did remember he does have one redeeming thing he's done so far that saved Lee's life from that bounty hunter in the last episode. So I guess at this point he is becoming a little bit more sympathetic. But yeah, you're right. He's shooting himself in the foot, and you know at this point that it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better, right? And but the funny thing around Bill is that I think right now that character that character brings with it other characters that are more redeeming, right? It brings with us Lee, because you see the difference between them when they patrol together.
Yeah.
It brings up his wife, who was on the show, and she was awesome on the show.
Great.
And watching that scene with where they sit down on the front porch, it really makes you feel for her character, and it also makes you admire her character because she just kind of accepts it. She's like, yeah, this is the path that I'm on. I'm gonna, fight to the end, even though this guy's an idiot and keeps bringing gangsters to the front door. So
Yeah.
To me, it's always when he's with the family that makes me like him a little bit, because he's a loving father and husband. He's not
for sure.
angry at home. He's angry at work. And once he did say to Lee that Chinatown has you can die there in many ways. I think the day by day at work just killed him a little bit inside, and he, as you just said, he doesn't see himself leaving this, he wants to go to another section and he can't.
Yeah. And it's speaking of killing, that kind of brings us to our next scene, and that is a toy's business partner going to speak with the politicians, saying that he needs his money back because the toy told him, go get my fucking money. Go get that money. And he goes back, and this politician's like, yo, man, I'll talk with you, but I am not talking with no Chinese whore. And then all of a sudden we see his man come back in the room with the old Colombian necktie, his neck slit, ear to ear. And then a toy comes in, and oh my God, I have never seen a woman so beautiful be so intimidating in every scene that she can be in. And I mean, she can go from loving to she's going to rip your head off in 2 seconds. And yeah, I mean, obviously the politician, I'm pretty sure wet himself right there, although we wouldn't be able to tell afterwards because there was a lot of liquid, mostly from the blood. Yeah, a toy comes in, doesn't even give him a chance, guts him, eviscerates him quite literally, and lets his belly guts come out. She is so ruthless. Why do we love a toy so much? Because a toy really is a ruthless killer.
Yeah, I don't know. She's charming.
You scare me. No.
She's a muse diva. And at this point, we don't know about her past yet. You're right. I don't know why we love her. Maybe because we know the circumstances brought her to this. As all the Chinese in Chinatown, they didn't plan some things. They, just survive. And she has the good side, like taking care of life, for example, taking care of Assam. So you can see her good side.
Yeah. She is a caring person as well. She's just got that killer attitude. But was it this episode where she dropped the line, "This isn't China, this is Chinatown"?
That was the first one. Yeah, that I remember she said that almost right away too, and that was kind of like oh yeah, that's kind of clever. But with this episode, I think it's interesting how they portray her from just having her screen presence to also like having the way she delivers her combat scenes, right? Because she's not gonna smash through something like Bolo. She's not going to break bones like Liang or Assam, right? So or she's not gonna get up close and personal with the blades like Young Jun, right? Well, because Young Jun already had that look, right? So, so her character gets the broadsword weapon, a weapon with that is associated with like these big sweeping, almost graceful movements, and it kind of helps. I guess it helps like give her a logical place there, right? Because otherwise it would be maybe hard for us to believe where it's like, yeah, this small woman's gonna cut up. It's gonna go against these guys 2-on-1, or 1-on-2, and come out on top very quickly. But because she has that weapon, because she wields it very well, she's able to control that side of it as well, right? They can't physically threaten her, even though and now that she's showing that she's got a lot of foresight, right? She's looking at buying this land, right? She's got plans for it. She gets upset at Assam because she thinks Assam's wasting his potential, and also just taking a risk by not preparing or by wasting his time slapping around disrespectful customers,
right?
Instead of doing what Leon's doing, or to the extent that Leon's doing it. So that little montage she had was pretty cool too.
Oh, for sure. And then
montage, little monologue, yeah.
Well, and you mentioned it too. Well, Sam walking up to the two patrons inside of Toy's burlesque or her whorehouse.
Brothel.
I'm sorry, brothel. Thank you, thank you. Having a trouble with words. Goes into the brothel there, and he just straight up bitch slaps this guy. Open hand slaps him a couple times, which has got to be the most insulting thing in the world. To me, that is. I mean, if I'm going to fight someone and they just open hand slap me and then just wait for me to punch them back, I mean, that is that BDE, as they call it. You guys will have to look that up on the internet. But he does. Trust me, Asama's got some serious BDE action going on. And he is he's at that point where he's already starting to take over as Bolo, right? Taking over Bolo's role. Are you looking it up right now, Rebecca?
What? I'm sorry.
I said, are you looking up BDE right now?
Yes.
Stands for Big Dick Energy.
Okay.
Sorry. Something they say it's science. I don't know.
I don't know.
But big slap, so
that's it. They say the bigger your dick is, the more energy you have, or the more confidence you have in life. But this is getting away from us now. But yeah, so a toy tells him to settle down, calm your shit, and let's I'm still here as a businesswoman.
Mm-hmm.
These are my patrons. I may not like these people, but they pay the bills and they keep all of us kind of going here and keeping the police away from us, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on with Assam right here? Like at this point, what's going through his head? Becca, what are you thinking? Like, why is he kind of losing his shit at this point? Because still, even to me at this point, after watching this episode so many times, I'm still not completely sure why he slapped this guy out.
Well, he came to America for a reason, to search for his sister. He didn't go how he imagined. He found one good thing in there. There was Penny. Penny just, broke up with him. Now he has this fight, but he's not caring for it. He's just, I don't know, had an argument with his sister again. She trying to make him not to fight, and he was like, all right, you want me to give up, so you're going to be the new queen around here. So we became somehow brother and sister fight again.
Right.
And I think he's just reckless as always. You know, this is Assam, as I
This is
always
a
say.
Sam.
He's no Bruce Lee character, you know. He's the opposite. He just, you
Which is
know.
really funny though, because a lot of people want the Assam character to be like Bruce Lee, but I don't necessarily think Bruce Lee wrote Assam for him, did he?
He
Like, was it
it,
supposed to be after his own personality, or was it supposed to be?
no. What I mean is, Bruce Lee characters always are good guys,
Yeah,
and always something bad happens. So he has to fight, he has to kill people, but to protect someone or to defend himself. But he always trying to be good, to be, you know, in the line. And Assam's not. I don't know how Bruce Lee wrote Assam. He quite sometimes wrote as a blind warrior, like
Mhm.
Zaitochi, which he loved, and he was supposed to be a son, but I don't know how much he described a son. I know Andrew Koji told in some interviews that in the beginning they were trying to, you know, um, be do a some a little bit quite Bruce Lee, but then they decided not.
Mhm.
We're going to play homage, but we don't going to imitate Bruce Lee. You know, Assam has his own personality, so it worked like
And the only
this.
person that seems to be impersonating or looking anything like Bruce Lee on this series has been this badass.
Hmm.
And I don't even think he's been doing it on purpose. It's just, I just think he's just naturally that good.
Yeah, he does do the he does do the little Bruce Lee homages of the gestures. That thing,
Yeah,
the bouncing up and down, the shifting the weight, the switching the feet. So
yeah.
yeah.
He does
Yeah,
the foot, draw the line in the sand with the foot too.
Yep, yeah. He
You
does
know?
he does the knee chamber when Assam tries to run at him. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's there. It's
yeah.
he does well with that.
He's a badass.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kind of fly through the end of this episode just because I want to, before we leave, talk a little bit about Mortal Kombat before we go, because I know I've seen your thoughts, both of your thoughts on the movie, but I'd like to share that with everybody else if we can. And it is Warrior adjacent because the lead actor in that movie, our boy Joey Taslim, as we were just talking about, playing Sub-Zero in there. But in the movie, though, or sorry, in Warrior, the next thing up that happened is Mai Ling meeting up with Assam late at night and her trying to tell him, listen, break a leg, do something in training, just don't do this. Li Yang will kill you. And here's my question to both of you. Do you think Mai Ling was saying that out of legit concern for her brother's well-being? Or do you think she was saying that because she thought her brother might actually beat Li Yang? I'll go with you first, Rebecca.
That's hard. Yeah, that's what he said. You are afraid me to beat him, and you're not going to be the leader, not going to be, you know, what you want to be. Um, but she seemed like concerned that Leon would be him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. She seemed honest. I don't know. We have to see in other seasons how it goes, but she seemed honest to me.
Frank?
The feeling I get is that she is also what Rebecca was saying, that she did fear that her brother was going to lose, right? Because hey, she's lived with this guy for a long time, and then she's probably seen a lot more stuff that may have not been shown on screen or in the backstory, right? Like, I mean, who knows what Leon's backstory is? Maybe he grew up in a temple and then got brought overseas by by Long Z himself to be his personal
Right.
bodyguard. I don't know. I don't know. He doesn't seem like he came up through the. He doesn't seem like he came up on the railroad system. It just doesn't seem like
No,
that. Like
no,
he's
not at
clearly
all.
a specialized member of the Tong, right? So, but that's what I felt. That's what it seemed like. It was. I don't think it was the power play, at least not the way that character was showing in that moment. So
Yeah. So up next, we see Larry talking to the Irish out in front of the Banshee here. And just saying, like, listen, this isn't no rail raid. We're not going to let these guys take our jobs again. He didn't say it as nicely as I just did. He's just riling up the troops at this point. And without trying to, he's solidifying his political dominance in this section of town. And he's already had that, yet he doesn't realize he's got this kind of political sway. And people say that to him later, like you don't realize that how much your word carries the vote of the Irish here, like people will do what you want. At this point, is this where we start to see Leary get to that point where he's had enough as well? Like where he's like, all right, now I've had enough. Now I'm ready to. You thought I was bad before. Now shit's about to really hit the fan.
yeah, well now he's got pull with one of the top employers, right?
Right.
So because he went and sat down with the guy who was eating breakfast and scared the crap out of everyone in that room.
Right.
And basically say, hey, this is what you're gonna do, or else I'll sick my dogs on you, right?
Yeah.
So, or it's like I can't control what happens next. Maybe these guys are gonna be unemployed and angry and violent, So, and you do see him actually do good things for the other Irish people, like when he did this episode where he tells that guy to go see the guy at the boarding house to give him food and a place to sleep. So
give him his hat.
Yeah. So there's legitimate reason for Irish people to support him at this point, So
For sure.
yeah, so it's and on top of the fact that there was the the racism against the Chinese, and he's able to probably articulate it in a ways maybe that they can't, and he delivers it in a way that's strong, right? So, because right after that scene, remember there was that wagon of coolies who roll by and they throw rocks at them, right? So it kind of shows. It was showing. I think the writers were trying to show us one, how the Irish felt desperate, but two, also how the Irish felt entitled and superior to these other guys who were getting the jobs for much less money and probably much more difficult work.
Yeah.
Right? So that was a big loaded moment,
And,
yeah.
The thing that was rough for me in this series is how they kind of blame black people for the whole turmoil between the Chinese and the Irish.
Yeah, they do mention that in the first episode. Yeah,
Well, not even just the first episode. They mention that in a few episodes, even when they go to that black bar and stuff, or the two black guys that show up in the Banshee. And he's like, listen, we fought your war and told you to leave, or we fought this war for you to have your freedom, and now you're still here, still taking our jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, we're not going to let the Chinese do the same thing to us that you did to us.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's an interesting thing to pick up on, because it's one of those things where it's like they believe that they're being the Irish, right, or at least what Leary's character seems to represent is that he seems to represent a group of a segment of the Irish population in the show, right, that thinks that they're being taken advantage of by the people who employ the labor, but they think they're superior to any other group of laborers.
Exactly.
Right? You can still see kind of like the entitlement and that's where you see the entitlement, the racism in these Irish characters, right, towards anything Chinese, and how they just assume like, yeah, no, these jobs are ours. Like, why are you giving it to someone else? So
because they're willing to work for cheaper and work harder.
Yeah,
any employer would do the same.
And it's one of those things where it's like, doesn't absolve the robber barons of that era, right? Who this show reflects in the people who employ these people, like the Meriwethers and the Mercers. But yeah. So, but I guess you can also see how it might parallel other things, in back then and also today, So
For sure.
Yeah,
No,
probably he's probably certain he's racist as well.
oh, for sure.
So he, as you were saying, he thinks he's better than other races, and probably the politicians that brought the Irish to the fight, to the war, told them some story that they would be part of the country, they would be part of the nation, and now they're like, hungry.
They want something.
Yeah.
They need some food. Feed us. So we move on from that scene to Leong training. And then after that, it kind of dissolves into a scene, and we see a toy show up. And a toy sees our girl Jenny Umbao, who plays Lai.
Mm-hmm.
And she's seeing Lai fuck around with those swords and show what kind of talent she's truly got. And you just see the sparkle in a toy's eye and a little smile come across her face. She's like, yeah, I've got another one with me. And that was the first time we kind of seen Lai as well, in that kind of sense of knowing that she could be a kick-ass warrior as well. This was a whole big montage of training that we see at the end. Because we saw that. We saw, of course, Andrew Koji, a Sahm training. What is that apparatus called? Training on.
Yeah, I believe the Cantonese name is Mokjong. My Wing Chun friends would know much better, but it's a Wing Chun training apparatus, also called wooden dummy. So yeah, using it to train different attributes of martial arts, block strikes, blocks and counters, body movement, a lot more as well. So yeah, so that's, I guess, also could also be a Bruce Lee tribute / homage, right? So it's because one of his primary systems, his main teacher was a Wing Chun teacher, and yeah.
I love your cat.
No, they're great. They're great. They're in the background. They do their own kung fu back there sometimes.
Yeah, man.
They like spin, turn in the air. I was like, I wish I could do that.
It's like capoeira.
Yeah, seriously.
Or catawera. That was such a dad joke.
I wasn't gonna say anything about like that, but I wasn't gonna call it that. But yeah, now that you have, so, but yeah, no, it's what were we talking about?
Well, we were just talking about the final kind of sequence there.
The Wing Chun. The Wing Chun.
The Wing Chun wooden dummy.
Yeah.
Now, so everyone finishes up that montage. We think the episode's over. They fade to black. Comes back up on the beach, and we see some person in a mesh, and we've got Bill and Lee there checking things out, and it is the senator that a toy had disemboweled. Yeah, I mean, they kill a lot of people. I'm surprised, and they get, like, the bodies are found all the time. You would figure a toy would be getting a little bit better at this.
Maybe she doesn't want to hide it.
Now it's different because it's a businessman. It's not Irish against Chinese or Chinese against each other. Someone important. So they figured why
Steph is
Chinese
back for the end.
I was watching you guys. I couldn't comment because I'm in Facebook jail, but I was still listening.
Well, that's all that matters. Hey, you could have went to YouTube and commented there.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Since I'm on lockdown on one of them, but I can't. That scene with Lai, where she sees Lai, I can't. That is such an impactful scene for me.
And she's just so happy. She's just so almost as happy as you are right now.
Well, I'm unwrapping something else to show you guys in a second. So,
Well, basically, that was the wrap of this episode that we watched there. As we said, we found a toy's handiwork or her leftover, maybe leaving it as a warning for other businessmen or other white men to leave the Asian women alone.
yep.
Maybe, I don't know. But this overall, I watched this episode and I was really excited going into this episode, thinking this was one of my favorite episodes. There wasn't a whole lot actually happening in this episode. I'm starting to think it was the next episode that I was more in tune to, and more of episode 9, season 2 as well.
I may have missed it. I have one quick comment. Did you notice what the mayor said when they were talking about politics and the money pot?
Yeah. Yeah.
Refresh.
You guys talk about that? He said,
poker.
yeah, this is politics. The money will change different hands, but it stays at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Meaning they keep it all in the
see
same place.
Got a seat at that table.
Somebody else is going to get paid.
Mm-hmm. House always wins.
Yep.
Always.
Yeah, that I think they put different scenes in there to send more deliberate messages, and I think sometimes, and I think overall the writers do a pretty good job of putting them in. Sometimes it might feel a little shoehorned. Sorry, I got cat hair on my pants. That's why I'm looking down. But it's but yeah, that part where that scene with Penny at the donors party, right, at the mayor's party, where she was directly defies the senator in front of everyone, and there's so much that gets said because she gives the brief history rundown about the treatment of Native Americans, and the senator responds with, "Well, we came with God and civilization," and she goes through, well, just because we use bullets compared to tomahawks, we somehow we're above them, and then he talks about lamenting the presence of those that they exploited for their labor. And then one of the friends makes a joke about how you lost her vote, Senator, and he said, "Oh, if she had one, I would have lost it."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, this is 1878. Women can't vote yet."
Yep.
For
still almost another 100 years after that.
Yeah, 50 some years. Yeah, so it's like, or 40 some years. Yeah, so it's like there was a lot going on in that scene, and it was like it was slick writing, I thought, because it was like line after line after line, and they all had a lot behind it. So and like smooth too. It didn't feel like it ran into each other that much.
Yeah, the writing on the show is top notch. Like obviously, or we wouldn't be doing the show, and they wouldn't be getting a season 3. Now, so that's it for this episode. The next episode, we got a big episode coming up because it's these two bad mofos going at it here.
Mm-hmm.
I legit can't wait.
I just got chills.
You want to talk chills? Watch this one more time.
To America, welcome to the tall where
We all
loyalty
gotta do it.
lies only with Warrior,
Right.
and they will scrap only if I give them the order. And you feeling itchy, you got something to say? Just know we hop this way. Nobody else is suited for this other than us.
Yes, I
know
added
it's crazy,
Rich to our
but we walk
Tom.
with it and don't give up. Welcome to the show. If you don't know the name, we call it Hop This Way.
She was awesome.
That is so fabulous.
Shout out to our boy Matt Chua for coming up with that amazing
Matt.
theme song.
Wait, he did say we
Chua
can
will be
share it,
back
right?
soon. Sorry?
He said we can share it, right? What was that
Yeah,
his
he
answer?
just wanted to wait till we premiered it here.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
everybody in the group could see it. But yes, now we could share this to show how good it is. I could send you guys a link to it, how I've got it with the video as well.
Yes, please.
But yeah.
I mean, I just have to say it. Now I'm in like 2 different songs, so it's just like the funniest thing ever. So I'm really, yeah.
Hey, you're multitasking. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
So we talked about this episode. We'll get into the next episode next week. Let's talk really quickly. We're at an hour 10 minutes here, but let's get a little bit into Mortal Kombat if we can. This movie, so I watched it. I think I'm one of the very few people on the planet that enjoyed it. Like, I didn't hate it, but I'm seeing so much hate from
Really?
everybody about this
See,
movie.
I haven't gotten to because I mean I've been running
Yeah.
around over here, and
I
what
think-
happened?
I think
I've
they made a
heard-
big mistake adding Cole, but aside from that, I didn't mind it, honestly. And people are like, "Oh, it's even worse than the original." I'm like, go back and watch the originals. Like, really? Like, I mean, it's a it's based on a video game, so to me, it wasn't.
Yes,
I wasn't
exactly.
expecting too much.
This kind of movie is like has many flaws on the script, but it goes so fast that you don't even have time to think, and you try to catch up. And but I thought that it's a mix of styles. They they are not faithful in the same style. And in the beginning, you think it's going to be like this fairy tale visual thing of countryside of Japan, very beautiful, and out of the sudden it turns cult, or I don't know, DC Comics. It's like
It
every
didn't
time
match. Sort of like they
changing.
didn't match each other.
Well,
Yeah,
they went from fighting in Japan in the opening scene, but that happened hundreds of years in the past, though, right?
yeah.
When that opening scene with Joe Taslim and I can never say his name properly, but
Hiroyuki
him,
Sanada.
Sonata.
Yeah.
Thank you. But that had taken place earlier in their like
I
100 years
know.
prior to that.
But there is a scene that
But then they were- later they're in a
doesn't
different
add
world.
it doesn't add to the story. The director just wanted to be poetic. He drops the cans of water, and they like film the water flowing in the floor, like it's poetic, but it doesn't match to anything else in the movie. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
It lost its flow.
Yes.
Hmm.
And regarding two fights, I think the worthy thing is Joe Taslim versus Hiroyuki Sanada. It's I watched it 3 times, one after another. Only the final fight scene. It's amazing. Sword like flying.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a really good fight scene. Yeah, I would say the thing that disappointed me maybe the most in this was that some of the fight scenes were really just quick. Like, which, as someone who's been in fights in real life, that's usually how they go. Like, fights don't usually last as long as they do like they do in movies. It's usually, I don't know, man. They just, I don't know. I've never been in a fight that's lasted longer than 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
I don't know. I'm just saying, and I'm not saying I've been in a whole lot of fights in my life either. I'm just saying, like, it's so to me. I guess that kind was, to me, in retrospect, that's almost more realistic. But it is a Mortal Kombat movie, and I wanted to see a little more combat.
Yeah.
And Cole was useless. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yes.
so he was, because I hadn't had a chance to see it either. So
I
you haven't
expected
seen it yet,
more.
Frank?
no, because I hadn't gotten a chance to, just because like, I've been running around also. But so I thought Louis Tan didn't really get to showcase his stuff, because they made
He did.
They made a big deal about his martial arts, right? So okay, so that's good.
Yeah, he did do a lot of martial arts in the movie.
Mhm.
It's just that character it's a brand new character, and it's just, there was a lot of it that just didn't make sense. But again, it's a Mortal Kombat movie, so I mean, we're talking about them fighting in an else world with magical beings, and one of them has 4 arms. Prince Goro.
Yeah.
So I love the Goro fight. I thought it was great.
Yes.
Honestly,
There are some good scenes.
yeah.
I'm sure I'm still gonna enjoy it. As long as they let the actors showcase their abilities, I think I'll enjoy it. Like, Yeah, 'cause
Probably.
like you were saying, it's like I'm not watching a show like that, a movie like that for the story, right? And I remember
Yes.
when the original Mortal Kombat came out, I was like 6 or 7, and
Oh my god.
you know, just to, sorry guys. So that was like what we played, right? That's what we played, and yeah, the movements were really like choppy because it's all like this, So
Yep.
so like I don't mind seeing that. That's nostalgia,
Yeah.
childhood nostalgia for me, and now that
The fireballs are kind of cool.
Yeah, Liu Kang does the fireballs all the time. He doesn't build up to it. He's already got that, and just he can
Ooh.
control them. He can just do like a Johnny Storm and pop it up on his hand and be like, "Yo, man, you need to
And
warm up."
Sub-Zero, like
Yeah,
with the eyes. Like,
I still don't really know what Cole's power was. He just basically had body armor.
he's got a tattoo.
No, he got a big body armor, and that was it. And these
he
the
have
police batons.
armored.
Tonfa.
Yeah, the Tofa.
Tonfa, yeah. It was like he's like you hold it, yeah.
Yeah, one of those. But
Yeah.
like I said, for me, I enjoyed it. I thought it was I didn't think it was fantastic, but I liked it for what it was, man. I played the video games.
Yeah.
And to me, you know what I didn't like about the movie?
What was it?
No Johnny Cage.
Oh yeah, I was wondering. They just didn't want to.
I'm not giving any spoilers away, but if there's a part two, there will be a Johnny Cage though.
I hope there's a part 2. I mean, Joe Taslim say he signed up for 4 more movies if it works out? So
yeah,
I think I would like seeing him as Sub-Zero. Just from like the little bit of that scene and just watch him in the trailer go like, I am Sub-Zero. Whoa.
My God, like there's so many scenes, so many cool scenes that Sub-Zero has. Like he steals the movie. No, he doesn't steal the movie. You know who steals that whole fucking movie? Kano. Kano is amazing in this movie. And Kano was the best thing in the first movie too. And he's just as obnoxious, if not more so, in this one.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah. He was fun. I thought he was funny, and he was just the ultimate douchebag. As
Sonia, I wasn't buying Sonia at the beginning, but she's very good actress, so she's convincing. Her face, strong face, and the editing of the fight scenes are well done. So you start to believe she's fighting, But first scene of her, I mean, which Sonia is that? Just like a model. What is that?
I just wanted to see her do the handstand head scissor takedown as I knock my lamp over here. But yeah, no, I thought it was a good movie. But yeah, I didn't realize you hadn't seen it, Frank. So it was just Rebecca and I. So
yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry,
we're split 50-50 so far. Well,
I know, right? See, I'm going to be binge watching so many things when I get back from Hawaii because I'll be so depressed I'm not in Hawaii. So I'm just going to be planted there.
Listen, every time you say that you are in Hawaii, I'm depressed. I'm not in Hawaii.
And
Listen,
her tent.
we'll set up. I want to set up a retreat. We'll figure something out,
I'm down. I am so down for doing all of my Rat G and Zeus 10 production stuff out of Hawaii. Oh my God. I always thought I had to go to Vancouver to fulfill my dreams, but I think it's actually in Hawaii.
You guys would love
I
it.
could be the next Don Ho.
You guys would love it. Love it. Oh, wait. And.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, damn.
What else do you have back there?
Is another one?
Yes, I got them at the same time. I couldn't decide, you guys. But look, because that's more like the Hawaiian one, but I forgot the name of it, with the teeth.
Mm-hmm.
The teeth, these are usually the teeth going all around the edge.
Yeah. That looks like it would hurt a lot.
You guys
Again,
are
we're going to
like,
put this out there for everyone. We are not teaching Stephanie martial arts. We need to use our powers for good.
Love you guys.
She's coming too dangerous.
That's awesome.
You guys are enabling this.
We've been going for a while here. It's been an hour and 20. So I did want to say thanks to everybody. And sorry, Steph, we didn't get to keep you on for the whole show.
Oh, I know. Sorry about that. I mean, our little COVID test running all over the place. It was a little hectic. And then, of course, we're driving across an island, so the signal went. So, but I need to show up. I missed you guys. We need to chat.
All right, we missed you too. And here's hoping the tests go positively and you get a negative.
Exactly.
That is so difficult to say.
Exactly.
I hope things go good and you get negative.
Exactly. Lovely.
Anything you guys would like to part on? I'll start with you, Steph, because we haven't seen you.
Yeah. Just keep checking on all the posts. I think someone, there was another Warrior fan who just put out a song as far as AAPI hate. There's so much happening. So I just keep sharing all of the interesting stuff. Some of it I see from you guys. So just keep doing what you're doing and I'll shout it out.
That's it. Stop that hate. Becca?
Well, keep tuned.
Sweet and simple.
Follow Warrior Max Geek.
Yes.
Yes.
And go to YouTube and follow whatever my page is.
Yes, son, please.
RadGTV,
and mine.
I think it is.
Mine is Asian Hoppa Hip Hop Hippie, the longest Instagram ever.
But it's the same as everyone that you've got, though, right?
I know, right?
So yeah, go like, subscribe, share the video, comment on these videos because that actually really helps us for getting more subscribers and getting more eyes on these videos. Next week, we will be doing one of the most intense episodes of the entire series. That's episode 9. I cannot wait. We'll see what we can do about getting maybe we'll see if we can get a guest to come join us. We'll see what we can do. See if we can find somebody to come our way. But Frank, before we go, you're the last person I didn't ask. What do you got for us, buddy? Any parting words?
No, this is just I guess it's just setting us all up, right? It's almost like a cliff. Well, a lot of episodes are the cliffhangers, but this is like where things are really starting to ramp up, as you were saying. So yeah, this is where it really starts to get fun to talk about.
Yeah, man. Which is weird because it's always been fun to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope. I think there's gonna be a lot of action. Well, I shouldn't say I think. I know we've seen it already. But we are gonna have a lot of action to talk about next week, folks. We were trying to get these going on Fridays, but I was thinking about that. Maybe we don't do Fridays, though. I know that's the release day, but maybe that's why we don't do it, because when they come back, they'll be coming back on Fridays, and we'll want to have a couple days before we review them.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe we'll start just doing them on Sundays.
Yeah, I think that works for me.
Yeah. And just the only time we'll ever miss the show is if, there's a Vikings game on. Yeah, I went there. Anyways, this has been a lot of fun, folks. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget, like I said, check us out on YouTube. Follow everybody at their social medias there. The Kung Fu Hustle, Warrior Max Geek, Asian Hippie Chick.
I know, right? Asian Hoppa Hip Hop Hippie. It's a tongue twister.
What she just said.
Yeah.
And you can find me at RadG on all the social medias. Or you can find me on some places at Ryan Fleming, believe it or not. I don't know who that guy is, but I hear he's not cool at all.
Ryan, always geek.
I hear he's a big geek. Anyways, folks, for everyone here, from all of us to all of you, thank you so much for joining. And big thanks to Matt Chua, who's going to play us out.
To America, welcome to the throng where our loyalty lies. Only with Warrior and they will scrap only if I give them the order. And you feeling itchy, you got something to say, just know we hop this way. Nobody else is suited for this other than us. I know it's crazy, but we work with it and don't give up. Welcome to the show. If you don't know the name, we call it Hop This Way.